welcome here to the home of Yardis Felix champion, and of course, Ferrari's biggest fan and Ferrari's fastest driver, especially in this fashion, as we once again planted it on not just the sprint pole, but the Grand Prix, the proper pole position. This is our 19th pole position of the season. Absolutely amazing as we chasing, that mythical 20. It will go to Abu Dhabi Yas Marina Circuit, our second home sweet home, because I absolutely, nailed the qualifying session. So, there were obviously, no issues, no spins around, like for example, in the sprint qualifying. And I really delivered, a performance worthy of, obviously, the sprint, Formula 1 world champion, but also the 4-time Scuderia Ferrari Formula 1 world champion, which you can see me over here with this lovely trophy. Yeah, so over here we will show it to you. I know you must be very excited. Obviously, Qatar, is the final sprint, Grand Prix of the weekend. We just concluded the sprint, won it by a solitary point. So lots of enjoyment on it. But that's why it's a little bit funny, because on the same day, just basically less than roughly 200 minutes after that amazing achievement, you gotta jump into the cockpit of this beautiful SF1000T N18 Formula 1 racing simulator, and you once again gonna perform to your very best. And so I did, right? So here obviously we are running the hard tire allocation, but we still had the fresh set of soft tires for all of the sessions. And obviously we wanted to save some for the race, because we do know that it's definitely it's not for sure that it will be a one-stop race, even though actually the tire compound is one step, I believe, harder than it was last year. So that will probably allow us to run significantly longer. But yeah, in any case, the most important thing was to plant it on a pole position, which still chasing very important records, like the most points, the most obviously Grand Prix victories. We will have the most podiums, as well. So still a lot at stake, despite the fact that, I'm already a world champion, so she just, enjoy myself. But now, being on the run of basically 3, race session victories with the Brazilian and Las Vegas Grand Prix and the Qatar Sprint, I went in, qualifying 1, immediately did 122.0. That would have been good enough for a pole position. Improve it to 121.5. Felt really good with the car. Easily top, qualifying 1. We went to qualifying 2, 121.6. Then did 121.4. And we said, okay, this is looking good, right? But we knew in sprint we did 121.2. So we kind of wanted to beat it, right? To see, can we do 120.8 or 9, right? Again, to do it in less than 81 minutes is absolutely incredible. If you think about the, just how much speed, we are able to shave off with the right lines, with the right commitments, especially I would say in the final sector, even though my biggest difference is in the first sector, surprisingly, but in the final sector, I have to say, if I've nailed my final qualifying run in Q3, if I nailed the final corner, right, that definitely could have been it, because, as we were going around the World Cup stadium, we show, some World Cup, speed over here, and we absolutely nailed it this time in a 7th gear, full throttle, so, yeah, that was magnificent. It felt really good, so definitely worthy of the pole position. Yeah, obviously we started with 121.5 in qualifying 3. We always go out, put in a bit more of a fuel, but just enough, to finish up the qualifying lap. And we said, look, let's not do the 2 separate runs. Let's always stick to what works the best for us, which is to go out, do the bunker lap in, to put it on a provisional pole position, like in the case of qualifying 3, then recharge the batteries, and then, really push it in. Yeah, we will show it to you, as we round it off with the qualifying, especially, in this lovely fashion that will actually make it 9 out of 9. I'm always on pole position, no matter if it's a Grand Prix or a sprint. So I'm really, enjoying this very comfortable, top, and I'm sure you guys cannot wait to see it, right? Okay, everybody, so let's enjoy, the beautiful, time that the machine and obviously the driver and the surroundings come in this kind of the 3D fashion all together to produce the art of car racing over here, which often happens, when you have a record-breaking season, especially at the end of it, like we are having with this 2024 season. So let me turn the Scuderia Red Retina iMac around, and we will be going for pole position. Okay, so over here it's all nicely set up. Okay, and let's go for it, guys. All right. So over here, you can see it looks very, very beautiful. A great setup, obviously, great wheel. Yes, Ferrari SF1000 is so much joy to drive. You can see it here. Yes, our World Championship over here looks so beautiful. You know, we are not just, obviously the proper Formula One World Champions for the fourth time, but of course the sprint champions, as well. This qualifying lap, going back to it, it really started, with the run up here to the turn one. Or out of the final corner, because as you can see over here, it is absolutely critical and it is absolutely important to make sure that you immediately, engage the battery. I'm having, I believe, 90%, 93% at this moment, and you gotta be just going for it, right? Because obviously, it is very important not to leave anything on the table, and I maximize it even more than during the sprint qualifying 3, when of course, I use pretty much every bit of the battery, every bit of the road. Guys, let's plant it on pole. Let's go, Jan Smolix, champion. DRS is wide open. Sprint and Formula One World Champion very late on the brakes. Here we definitely lost half a tenth or a tenth. This is decent. The car is so fast over here through sector 1. Let's go, Jan! Oh, and great 6th gear. Nicely using the curbs. This is a champion drive. We are purple. Let's go, Jan Smolix, champion. You can hear it. I'm using lots of battery. Here a bit wider, but we are 10th up. But we wanna go into 1 minute 20s. Let's go, yeah. Yeah, this is good. Bit cautious. Early turn in, and now let's go to the favorite part of the Losail International Circuit. Wow, 7 gear works well. World Cup Stadium, wow, we are double purple. And this, enjoy. Wow! Totally on a limit, almost 4 tenths up. What a champion! And did a bit of a look up, otherwise we would have beaten the sprint qualifying time. But let's go, Jan! Triple purple fastest time, Jan Luksha, 1 minute 29.297, baby. That's how you do it. And yeah, this is how, of course, it finished. We destroyed opposition by a second and a half over here. Look at this handsome boy being on the 19th pole position. Obviously, we've always been on the Grand Prix pole position since that botched one in Monza. We've always been in a race session since, obviously, we made a mistake in the Brazilian sprint, but this is brilliant. So look at this. So the reigning now, the newly crowned world champion, also the sprint champion, Jan Luksha, qualifying first, well ahead of second place, Lando Norris. That's a bit of a surprise, who has tipped Verstappen by 0.003 seconds, 0.23 seconds. So third place, Verstappen, just ahead of Perez, who put in the stroke qualifying session for Red Bull. He will line up fourth. Fifth is then Oscar Piastri for McLaren. Did very well, and Charles Leclerc for Scuderia Ferrari, destroyed by almost 2 seconds. I mean, I was so fast. I could have definitely have it, if I didn't, have that little look up, in the final corner, but that was a brilliant lap. 7th is then Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin. 8th, Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes-AMG Petronas, just by 0.013 seconds ahead of his Mercedes-AMG teammate George Russell in 9th. 10 is then Lance Stroll, who still made it into the top 10. So the top 5 teams, the top 10 spots, and it's really well poised. Over here, different strategies. Obviously, your condition will matter a lot. I mean, you gotta be on it. You gotta be prepared to face these tough conditions. Even though here, pretty much almost at the beginning of winter, it won't be so humid and so hot. But I'm so happy to have planted it on a pole position, especially considering that. Pretty much I did 6 laps, right? 6 laps over here, and can you believe that every single lap would have then been good enough for the pole position? So yeah, that's absolutely amazing, and that just shows just how well executed this qualifying really was. I mean, the execution, it was brilliant, and I hope you guys enjoyed. This is exactly, how you have to do it. So you have to go for it. You gotta make sure, that every lap, you don't want to over push it. I would say, that's very important. Easy to say. Obviously, we've done a fantastic job with developing the car, like we explained, in that sprint qualifying, right? Because developing the car is absolutely crucial in order, to be really good. And as a result, you will be celebrating a lot, right? That's right. So let's go, guys. Smiley and champion, as always. In this Scuderia Ferrari fashion, this is the pole position trophy, our 19 pole position here of the season. Oh yeah! Wow! Look at it! We got it! We got it! We really wanted to go for it, guys. So I'm absolutely, really super happy about it. And yeah, I really cannot wait to race over here. As last year, we were absolutely bossing it here in Qatar. So we will see what exactly will happen, this year again, bar some mechanical or technical problems, which, usually the car is super reliable, super fast, very, very durable, so, little touches here and there and everywhere have almost no effect on it. So I believe we will be in for a really great lap. Gotta make sure put in a bit more of fuel, but fuel consumption wasn't an issue in a sprint, so I'm really happy about it. We will see, obviously, with the full fuel tank how it will go. We probably wanna avoid, going medium and hard. Probably if we could go medium soft, that would be better. Obviously, we don't want to do medium soft or medium soft, but would still probably have the tires for it, because I believe you can use the tires from the sprint qualifying. And yeah, overall, you guys, this is exactly how you planted on pole position. This is exactly why I'm the world champion. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, right? It feels so real, and yeah, it's just a really, really satisfying lap. And yeah, you guys, all I can say is I cannot wait to race over here in Qatar. It's a really enjoyable track over here. It looks very beautiful as the lights illuminated in the scintillating colors. And all I can say is, let's go for victories! Let's go! Jan, the Smiley Champion!